This was difficult to write. Fully arranged the dishes on the tray, the steam rising gently from the freshly cooked rice and spicy aroma of kimchi was filling the kitchen. He was about to take it to Wine's room where she had confined herself in sadness, her resolve to end the pregnancy casting a shadow over their home. But as he turned, there she was standing at the kitchen doorway, her eyes watery yet holding a glimmer of something new. Could you give me some food? Her voice was a whisper, but it cut through the silence like a melody. The tray clattered onto the counter, his heart swelling with a cocktail of emotions. Ryan, you are here, he managed to say, his voice thick with unshed tears. She nodded, a tear escaping down her cheek. I am hungry, she said simply, and it was as if those two words held a part of him that had been broken for weeks. As they sat together, Wine took a bite, and with each mouthful, the weight in the room seemed to lift. Then, with a deep I thought about your words yesterday night. I thought a lot. You are right. Terminate our pregnancy because of my biological parents. Reached across the table, taking her hand in his. Wine, this child is ours, a symbol of our love and perseverance. Your biological parents' shadows don't reach here, not to the life we have built together. Upbringing matters, Wine, more than genes. Environment matters. We won't let our child develop the sick mentality of your biological parents. Just trust yourself, trust me, trust us. She squeezed his hand, a smile breaking through. I was so scared of becoming like them, but I see now. Our child will know nothing but love and morals. And that's all we need, that's all. Word his heart finally at peace. 2 months later. In the softly lit examination room, Vine lay on the reclined chair, her hands folded over her belly, a mix of hope and by her side, his presence a silent pillar of support. The doctor, kind-faced woman with gentle hands, moved the ultrasound wand with practiced ease. Everything's looking good so far, the doctor murmured, her eyes on the screen that flickered with the grayscale image of the life burgeoning within Vigan. Heartbeat is strong and growth is on track. Vine's lip curved into a tentative smile, meeting which was filled with an equal, quiet joy, but the moment was fleeting. I have noticed an anomaly that concerns me, the doctor continued, her words measured. It's a condition that puts you at risk, Vigan. Continuing this pregnancy could lead to severe complications for you, potentially life-threatening. The room seemed to close in around them, the air heavy with the weight of her words. Then she softly said, I know this is not what you were hoping to hear, especially after all the challenges you have faced to get here, but I must prioritize your health, Vian. We need to consider the possibility of terminating the pregnancy to ensure your safety. Vian's eyes filled with tears, a storm of emotions passing over her face, fear, sorrow, and the echo of a dream that might slip through her fingers. Wrapped around her a silent vow that whatever happened, they would face it together. Take your time to think about this. Saying this, she left from the room and went on her regular patient round, leaving the couple alone. The sonogram room was silent, save for the soft hum of the machine. Side by side, hands intertwined, their eyes fixed on the screen that had just shown them the heartbeat of their unborn child. The doctor's words echoed in the sterile air. The pregnancy could cost Vian her life. Felt as if the ground had been pulled from under him. Vian, we have to consider termination. Vian's eyes were pools of resolve, her grip on his hand tightening. She declared, her voice stronger than he would heard in weeks. I wanted to end this pregnancy for all the wrong reasons before. Maybe that's why this is my punishment, but I won't make that choice now. Shuddered, he pleaded, the fear of losing her overwhelming him. But Vian, it's your life at risk. She stood up, her framed by the light of the doorway. I know, but this child, our child, is a part of us. I can't do it. With those final words, she walked out, leaving surrounded by the cold medical equipment, more devastated than ever, grappling with fear of the future and the fierce love he held for both Vian and their child. Some days later, the bedroom, once a sanctuary of love and dreams, was now a battleground of fear and desperation. He was on his knees before Vian, his hands clasping hers, his eyes pleading. Please, Vian, I can't lose you. We need to terminate this pregnancy. He begged, his voice raw with emotions. His mind was a whirlwind of a self-reproach. He was tormented by the memory of their joy just 2 months ago, now turned into a nightmare. Why did I encourage her to continue? Why couldn't I foresee this? You were doing this because of petty anger, right? Anger that I didn't let you terminate this pregnancy before? Then my love, don't be angry. Please do terminate this. Why would I be? Then why can't you freaking do what doctors advising? In a moment of anguish, his voice rose, a loud shout in the quiet room. Do you not care about what happens to you, to us? His heart was breaking, the sound of his own voice foreign to him, but Vian remained resolute, her voice steady. Care about this life inside me. I can't just end it out of fear at the cost of my life. I am sure you're gonna be an amazing dad. Their mom too. Defeated, he collapsed beside her, his head in his hands, his body shaking with sobs. Vian reached out, her touch gentle on his back. I am sorry, she said softly, her own tears mingling with his. I am so sorry I have to do this. He hugged her tightly, hiding his face in her neck, soaking it with his tears. Her eyes too shedding tears. You are cruel. You are very cruel. More than 4 months later. Alone in the sterile hospital corridor, the stark white walls closing in on him. The muffled cries from the labor room pierced through the silence. each one a stark reminder of the gravity of the situation. Wagon, against all odds and advice, was inside, giving birth to their child at the end of her 8th month, her frail health hanging by a thread. His mind was a template of guilt and fear. Why couldn't I convince her? Why couldn't I protect her? The thoughts circled in his head like vultures over a dying prey. He had been her rock, her support, but now he felt as fragile as a leaf in a storm. The doctors had warned them, advised a C-section to save at least one life. Everything was planned. They were to do the C-section a couple of weeks later, but suddenly Vine's labor started. Now, as the reality of the situation dawned on him, he couldn't help but curse himself for not being firmer, for not saving her from her own selfless bravery. The love that had bound them together was now a cruel twist of fate, potentially taking her away from him. He slid down the wall, his body unable to support the weight of his despair. The cold floor was a stark contrast to the warmth of their home, where they had dreamed of raising their child together. Now he was faced with the possibility of a future without her, a future he couldn't bear to imagine. The door of the labor room opened and a nurse stepped out. Taehyung looked up, his eyes searching hers for a sign, any sign. The nurse's expression was unreadable. And he knew that the next few moments would decide everything. His heart, if it could break any further, was ready to shatter. The nurse's approach broke through the haze of anxiety, her arms cradling a tiny bundle, and she said softly. As the nurse gently placed the newborn in, the surge of emotion overwhelmed him. The baby, so small and fragile, was a beacon of hope in the longest night of his life. "And why?" he asked, his voice trembling, dreading the possible answer he would receive. "She's in observation, but she's a fighter. There's a good chance she might pull through," the nurse replied, her eyes kind. A tear left the man's eyes without caring about his surroundings. He looked at his son's sleeping face. More tears left his eyes. Lips trembling, he planted a gentle peck on his son's forehead. Your mom won't leave us, right? She will fight back. She have to." The hospital room was quiet, the soft beeping of the machines a testament to the battle Vian had fought. The doctors came with a cautious smiles. "Vian's health is weak, but she has survived. She needs a lot of rest now." Stood by her bedside, his son in his arms, looking down at Vian's resting form. Relief washed over him like a warm tide, tears of gratitude spilling over. He whispered a promise to both his wife and child. "I will take care both of you always." The weight of the past months seemed to lift, leaving room for a future filled with love and laughter of his family. The road ahead would be long, but as he looked at his son, he felt strength he never knew he had. They had weathered the storm together, and now they could finally breathe. 6 months later. The morning light bathed the kitchen in a soft glow. Dressed for work, savored the last moments of breakfast with his family. Vian was across the table feeding their son, who gurgled happily in his high chair. Taehyung began, his voice filled with a tender earnestness. "Now that he is 6 months old, maybe he could start working again, from home or the office, whatever you feel comfortable with." Vian paused her spoon mid-air and looked at. Her smile was gentle, yet it didn't quite reach her eyes. Maybe, she said, her mind racing with thoughts she hadn't voiced in months. Reached out, his hand brushing against hers. It would be good for you to reconnect with that part of yourself again. He encouraged, hoping to see the spark in her eyes that he loved so much. Vi nodded, her head heavy with the secret she harbored. I will think about it, she replied, her voice soft murmur. Took to leave, he leaned over to plant a kiss on his son's forehead and then on Vi's cheeks. I love you so much, he said with a warmth that filled the room. I love you too. Her heart aching with a bittersweet pain, she turned to their son, her eyes brimming with unshed tears, knowing that these moments were numbered. She knew her decision was made. She would leave, ensuring their son's future with his father, a future she felt she could no longer be a part of. And as she fed their son, each spoonful was a silent farewell, a mother's love etched in every touch, every smile, every tear she fought back. At evening, the front door cracked open and they stepped into the dimly lit hallway, expecting to see Vian's familiar smiling greeting him. Instead, he was met with the sight of his cousin Jimin cradling his son in the living room, brow furrowed in confusion. Jimin, what are you doing here? Where's Vian? Jimin looked up, his expression somber. Vian had to rush to her father's house urgently, so she called me to watch the little guy. But it's been hours and she hasn't returned. Her leaving for her father's place didn't seem right. She didn't mention to me that she needs to go to somewhere today. Did she went anywhere else? Did Jimin heard wrong? But why hasn't she come back yet? Does something bad happen? Vian had severed ties with her father long ago. There was no reason for her to visit him now. Panic clawed at his throat as he dialed her father's number, then one relative after another, but no one knew of her whereabouts. Report with the police, the hours stretching into an endless void of worry. He was a shell of himself, going through the motions of caring for their son, his mind consumed by Vian's absence. That night, as he softly sang a lullaby to his son, his voice barely masking his anxiety and exhaustion, something caught his eye, a piece of paper tucked under a cushion. With a trembling hands, he unfolded the note which wasn't there previous night. He saw Vian's handwriting blurred before his eyes. By the time you would be reading this letter, I would be far gone from you and our son. No, I am not pacifying myself. No, I am just removing myself from your life, Taehyung's life. It's for the best. I have tried multiple times in this 1 year of time to not think about my conception, the way I was made. But unfortunately, I can't oversee the face that I am dirty, very dirty. I can't take this thing out of my mind. I fear someday I would become crazy thinking all this and do something stupid in front of Taehyung which would leave a forever scar trauma in his mind. That's why I am leaving. Please tell him I am no more, not due to giving birth to him, but due to accident. Also, never let our son meet my biological parents. Never tell him the nasty truth. If I stay there, this wouldn't be possible unless I confront my biological parents, which I can never do. It's gut-wrenching for me. I know you can raise him well. My love, you will raise him wonderfully. So be happy in life. Don't look for me. I have left with my full will. If any day you would love again, don't hold back. Not every woman's birth would be nasty like me. Not every woman would be weak willed like me, so never hold back. Give yourself another chance to trust another one. I pray you would not be disappointed. You and our son would be forever in my prayers. Yours, Wayan. Tears fell on the paper, each drop a testament to the love and life they shared. Now a memory etched in ink. When did your state become this fragile? Why didn't I notice? Why I assumed you were getting better while nurturing Thason, while being with him, laughing with him, while smiling with me. How could I forget about post-pregnancy depression? Why I didn't took you to psychologist? Why, my love, why? He yelled at himself in his mind. Regret washing over him as he felt he didn't have had much to overcome her situation. Instead, he assumed everything was okay. He wanted to scream that time, scream in agony, regret. But couldn't due to his son being sleeping in his arms, unaware to the truth of his mom leaving him, leaving his dad. Cradled him closer to his chest and cried silently. The regret, the pain, the agony was too much for him to bear. Hope this story was as you expected it to be, and mind you, it took me damn 3 months to upload it fully. It was very difficult to